Do you ever get nervous about the fact that God has called you in to be a part of his team and actually has work for you to do in this world? Well, it can be, if left to our own devices, it can be certainly a nerve-wracking thought. But the great thing is God never calls us in without then equipping us. And so the verse I'm going to look at today is continuing in the passage that we've been sharing out of Luke chapter 9, verse 1, but we're going to go down a completely different road today. And here's how the verse reads. Then he called his 12 disciples together and gave them power and authority over all demons and to cure diseases. So the first step is God called them in, and the second part is he equipped them. And specifically in this case, he equipped them to cast out demons and to cure diseases. Now, clearly in this time, there were many people in the disciples' world that were wallowing in despair and hopelessness. And guess what? We are immersed in the same type of culture today where there's people around us who are hurting and who are in despair. Now, you may think to yourself, but who am I to be God's agent to do anything about that? Besides, I have my own past and I have my hang-ups. How in the world can I be used by God to bring a message of hope in spite of where I'm at? Well, the book of Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10, it's one of my favorite verses. It says that we are God's workmanship, created in Christ for good works, which God has prepared beforehand that we should work and do them. And the great thing about that word workmanship is literally it's the word poema, where we get the word poem. And you and I are God's poem to a world that is hurting and that's in despair. The challenge for us is this. Many of us grew up with a message where we weren't affirmed, or we had absent parental figures, or we were given a message that in some way we didn't quite measure up. And we often carry that into our Christian walk and don't realize to the extent that we have been equipped. But God says you are his workmanship, created for good works. And therefore, he has not only called you in, but he has also equipped you to make an impact in this world.